Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I am back home today, and I am ready to get going. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up those football gods. It's hump day. It is the middle of the week. It's actually day number 3 of me trying to get my ass back in shape. And if you are thinking about doing keto or trying to get back in shape and looking for a support group, if you want some keto recipes as well as some regular recipes, I've actually finally, by popular demand, created my cooking channel. It's not just keto. I'm putting all my tailgating, my big sub recipes on there. Just got to it takes time to load all that stuff on there, and we'll be coming up with some new things. And I'm trying to get my blood pressure down, my cholesterol down, as well as get some of this weight off. I was at 269 here just a few days ago, and I started doing keto. This is day number 3, and you can see I'm getting that keto energy right now, so watch out. So definitely check out Cooking with Joe Boo and Tailgating if you are wanting to join us. We've already got almost 200 people that have subscribed, so shout out to you guys. We're going to get this shit off, and we're going to fix the damn Dallas Cowboys, whether Jerry or Jones wants to or not. So it's kind of funny. The Dallas Cowboys, 12-5, and all the speculation is we need a new coach. Mike McCarthy's not the guy. We suck. Dak Prescott, garbage-ass quarterback. The narrative is the Dallas Cowboys are the worst team in the NFL. You know what's funny is how Cowboy fans, how we always want something else. Something else. So we have Shaq yesterday. Now, this is Shaq before Sean Payton. Before Sean Payton, he was on a podcast and ended up saying that they need to fire Mike McCarthy right now. Right now. Get him out of here, man. Shaq Fu his ass. Right? And hire prime time. I'm talking about prime time Deion Sanders as the head coach. Sometimes we have reactionary reflexes to situations where you just say, you know, I'm not satisfied, just off with his head. Off with his head. We want something new. I don't know if Primetime is ready to be a head coach for an NFL team just yet. I know Primetime knows defenses. I know he knows offense too because he played both ways. But I'm not sure that Primetime is ready just yet to take care of all that is the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, he's got the relationship with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys and the relationship. I'm just not on board with that one. Then, of course, Sean Payton leaves or says, I'm not returning in New Orleans. We don't know what the ramifications yet on the contract situation because he still has 3 years that he belongs to the New Orleans Saints. Even though this is external from the Cowboys, this technically doesn't have anything to do with their situation. Of course, the speculation is, and believe me, the talking heads are ecstatic because now they got something extra to talk about. We only have 2.5 weeks left to the season. It's about to be the NFL winter where you have that first month where there's nothing going on but the rent, except for leading up to free agency. For the Cowboys, don't worry. We got more content than we can shake a stick at. We have 21 free agents, and technically, right now, the only linebacker we have is Micah Parsons. Everybody else is a free agent. Let me say it again. We only have Micah Parsons. Everybody else is a free agent. Safety-wise, we got Donovan Wilson. Everybody else is a free agent. So we have to figure out who's going to be here. We got D-Law. It's $27 million. The cap saving of that $19 million could go a long way at signing some of those other guys. Just pointing that out there. There's the Tyron Smith. That's the $19 million. His $15 million of cap saving could go a long way to, getting some other offensive linemen. Same thing with Lyle Collins' $15 million that we could save 10 of. So we got big decisions to make before March 20th on if we're going to cut these people before guaranteeing their money. We also have decisions to make on guys that we do not want to get a chance out there to be free agents. We do have the franchise tag, and somebody was looking at the franchise tag number for Blake Jarwin being like $11 million. You may want to do that till you work out a deal or something like that. So we got a lot to talk about before Sean Payton. But let me go back through here on this. I want you to understand that here it is. We had a 6-10 season, which was butt awful the first year that Mike McCarthy was here. Second season, 12-5, fire him. Get Sean Payton in here because Sean Payton is a winner, right? That's where we are right now. Get Sean Payton in here. But I want you guys to look at something here. And I've gone on both sides of this. I want you to understand that Sean Payton, 2014, 2015, 2016, had 7 and 9 seasons, 3 of them in a row. He came out with 11-5. 1 playoff win, 1 loss, out. So keep in mind, we have Mike McCarthy, 12 wins, early exit. 2017, 11-5, 1 win, 1 loss. 2016, 13-3, 1 win, 1 loss in the playoff. 2019, second year with 13 wins. 13-3. One and done. The next year, 12-4. 1 win, 1 loss. So if you're screaming, fire Mike McCarthy for a 12-win season, Sean Payton has had three seasons of 12 or more wins and no more than 1 playoff win. He's had 4 seasons in a row. 4 seasons in a row that he had playoff teams of 11 and better and no more than 1 playoff win. So if we bring in Sean Payton, let's say Sean Payton gets the Cowboys, that's like 4 division titles in a row. Gets the Cowboys 12-5 and 13-4 and 12-5 and maybe 11-6, and we win the NFC East, but don't have the playoff success. Are you going to fire Sean Payton too? Are you going to scream, screw him, go get Bill Belichick? Because that's what we do as Cowboy fans. Now, I've been on the other side of the fence and said maybe Sean Payton is like Andy Reid, where Andy Reid was just burned out from Philadelphia. It was time for a change. He had been to a Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb. They had lost to New England, but who hasn't lost to New England in the Super Bowl? I guess the Giants. But it was time that he got a new location, a new job, a new perspective, and a redo, because now you look at it and say, well, Andy Reid, he has a possibility of going to his 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Maybe that's Sean Payton after being in New Orleans for so long that he's gotten stale, that you got the new job, you get new energy, the new excitement, the new players, and so on, that's the case. Regardless, I don't think that it's going to happen this year. I think you've actually undermined Mike McCarthy. Or you have motivated Mike McCarthy and you have now put a fire under his ass, and it's now, I'm going to show you. Much like Aaron Rodgers did 2 years ago when they drafted Jordan Love and basically were trying to move on for him. He went out, had an MVP performance, not Super Bowl, and showed them, you can't get rid of me. And that's the task that Mike McCarthy is going to have. So we don't know which way this is all going to go, but what we do know is the Cowboys, to have any success whatsoever, they're going to have to deal with who is going to be here, and they're going to need to deal with this sooner than later. So Jerry Jones, if he's going to try and make a change, you better damn sight do it sooner than later. You better be on the phone with New Orleans and Sean Payton to figure out if you can work a deal to get him here this year, because you have less than 2 months to determine who of these overpaid players need to be cut before their contract is guaranteed, like Jalen Smith's was last year. And with that money that you save, who you're going to keep from these free agents. Because if you end up having bloated contracts and lose the majority of the people that got you that 12-5 season, I don't care if it's Sean Payton or Mike McCarthy, you're not going to have any success either way, because you got no players and now you're starting completely over. So let's hope that this is not a case of D-Law repeating itself, where you waited to get the contract done, and instead of D-Law getting his shoulder fixed, he waited until the contract got done, was not ready to start the season as a full go, and it stunted your growth. Let's hope that this is not a situation where you decide to wait to pay Zeke Elliott and he spends training camp in Cabo and truly comes back not ready to start the season. These are self-inflicted wounds that the Cowboys do to themselves. I don't care what the move is, okay? But I remember a high school coach of mine saying, if you're going to fuck up at full speed. There's nothing worse than making a fuck up and you did it slow. Get it out the way. If you want to go ahead and implode this thing, well then implode the damn thing. But hurry up and do it. Don't wait. Don't drag this shit out like you did with Jason Garrett and then get stuck with Mike McCarthy, because you didn't decide sooner to start looking at some of the other candidates. Don't fuck up the season for D-Law and Zeke Elliott because you wanted to take your sweet damn time getting their contracts done. Don't pay Dak Prescott more than you had to because you decided I want a team-friendly deal when you could have had him in the 20s. You decided to wait. You fucked up over and over and over again because you wait to do shit. We ain't got time. As Jerry Jones used to say, I ain't got time for a bad time. Well, seems like you have time for a fuck up. And you know, it's always amazing to me how there is never time to do something right the first time, but there's always time to do it the second time. You notice that? So the coach watch continues. We do know that Dan Quinn is on his second interview with the Bears. Jim Caldwell is also there for a second interview as well. I'm actually happy. I would love for Jim Caldwell to get another job. He is also second interview with Jacksonville, although I think Brian Leftwich will get the job in Jacksonville because former quarterback coming back home, he understands everything about Jacksonville and stuff, and I think he would be a great fit. And having the pedigree of working with Tom Brady, I think is definitely a good thing with him. So I think he's got the inside track, and no, it won't be Kellen Moore. And, of course, you heard, Denver wanted to talk to Kellen Moore. Well, he's not part of the second go-round. Of course, the Bears wanted to talk to him, and, of course, he's not part of the second go-round there. I can't remember if the Giants wanted to or not. There's so many teams. But apparently, Kellen Moore is not a good interview. Kellen Moore is not instilling that confidence like a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan where you say, okay, let's turn the keys over to him. And I think now that we've had blunders of guys like Adam Gase and also coaches like Matt Rule, that teams are being a little more cautious on hiring the more unknown guys because you can set your franchise back years by bringing in the wrong guy. I think teams are looking a little more on the safer side on these coaching candidates that have had more actually head coaching experience. So we'll see where it goes there. Let's go through, because I know that the talking heads are going to have a feast today talking about Sean Payton. And I have not seen this clip. When I come in here in the morning, we're watching these things together for the first time. And so I have no idea what they're going to say. But, of course, I can guarantee you that they are going to be saying, oops, hit the laughter button. I can guarantee you they're going to be saying that, oh, he's going to be going to the Cowboys. Anybody want to put money on it? Well, let's go ahead and do it.
Perhaps not, but it's definitely where our head is right now. And Todd Archer feels the same way. Todd covers the Cowboys for us. And I will remind you of the history between Sean Payton and Jerry Jones. And Todd Archer writes, if Jerry is going to be fundamentally fair to Mike McCarthy, he needs to make a trade for Payton, meaning the coach, since the state still own his rights, or come out and just say McCarthy is his coach. That won't end speculation, of course. Once the season starts, McCarthy will be looking over his shoulder the entire time. Every loss will be dissected through the prism of Payton. Dak Prescott's development will be evaluated through the Payton prism. Everything in 2022 will be WWSPD. What would Sean Payton do? Fascinating. Kmart, what do we think?
I think Todd's right. Regardless of the Sean Payton of it all, Mike McCarthy was going to enter this season looking over his shoulder. If Jerry said, he's our coach, he's my guy, every week, wouldn't we question it anyway, depending on how this team does? And that was the problem of these two seasons being, the first year not being good, this season being a complete disappointment. Regardless of Sean Payton, that was the issue. But when I talked to people yesterday about Sean Payton and the Cowboys, I was immediately told, oh, he's definitely going to end up in Dallas. League people believe he will definitely end up in Dallas. It's a matter of when, not if.
Wow. Okay, that's even better than I was hoping for. Dominique, she says it's a matter of when, not if, Sean Payton winds up the coach of the Cowboys.
Well, clearly I'm not a league person, because I said this yesterday. Once it was out there, after Jerry Jones's quotes on Friday, and then the news, kind of the rumors about Payton were out there, like, it seemed completely obvious to me, because if you guys don't know, Jerry Jones is not new to the media. Like, he doesn't put that stuff out there and then is surprised by the reaction that it gets. Like, I believe that he has a plan, he has an idea, and the only thing that made me step back a little bit is Sean Payton suggesting that maybe he'll take a year off. Other than that, like, my full expectation was at some point, maybe just before the Super Bowl, they're going to move on from Mike McCarthy. Then they're going to do like a Zoom interview with the black coach, and then they're going to hire Sean Payton the next day. Like, that was my full expectation.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep it real on Get Up in the Morning.
On Wednesdays, we keep it real.
That's 2 votes for Sean Payton to Dallas. Do we have a clean sweep? Tim Hasselbeck, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're connecting a dot because he's been there in the past, but I don't see it happen based on his comments about taking a year off. I think those could actually be real. And then the other aspect of it is, I don't think Dallas is moving on from Mike McCarthy right now. I don't think they are. He's still under contract. Sean Payton's still under contract. I just don't think it works that way, where it's like, oh, hey, this guy's available. Let's just go grab him because. And truthfully, I don't feel like, Jerry Jones has ever really operated like that with his head coach. Like think back to the patience he had with Jason Garrett. Like, I just don't think that's how it's going to go with Mike McCarthy. I don't think it's going to end that quickly for him. I know that people have been very critical of him, and I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to be under a ton of pressure. Granted, you asked me coming into the season who was under the most pressure in Dallas. I said it was Mike McCarthy. That's always going to be the case, but I don't think that means they're going to replace him with Sean Payton, especially because I'm not sure Sean Payton's going to coach this year.
Well, that's okay. So there's the because you just said it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. The when could easily be you hit pause, Sean goes and does TV for a year, whatever it is he wants to do, recharges the batteries. McCarthy coaches the team. We see what happens. He's looking over his shoulder the whole time, the way Todd Archer wrote. And then a year from now, we pick this conversation up. That would coincide, if that's the right word, with the things you're hearing.
Yeah, with what people think in the league because of how Jerry has not orchestrated like that in the past.
Right.
But because of that, he understands the window is closing rapidly.
But that's the thing. We sometimes have an image of Jerry Jones as though he's like George Steinbrenner because of the high profile and all that kind of stuff. But Steinbrenner used to shuffle managers in and out all the time. Jerry has not done that. That is correct. But guys like Sean Payton don't come available all the time either, Dominique. This is a unique situation.
That's my point.
True.
I think it's a clear upgrade, which is hard to find, especially in coaches because it's so hard to measure their impact. It's hard to know when you have a clear upgrade opportunity. He has it right now, and I do think it will be out of character for Jerry to do it, but I don't think it will be outrageous. Again, it's because of what he said on Friday. Like I said, he's not a fool. Like, he's not saying this stuff and then surprised by the reaction. I'm confused at why he would be doing anything that would heighten the pressure or make his coach feel less certain, because if you remember, one of the big issues with their team in the playoffs was discipline. By putting out what he said on Friday, you undermine anything but undercut your coach's credibility even more, which makes it even harder for him to institute whatever disciplinary measures he needs to eliminate the penalties and eliminate those type of mistakes.
All right. Well, thank you for watching ESPN.
You're very welcome. Okay. Those are some of the things that I kind of said yesterday, that literally you have cut Mike McCarthy off at the kneecaps. That unfortunately the speculation will continue to be there. Every game when they lose, it's going to be, oh, Sean Payton would have done that. It's going to be ugly. It is truly going to be ugly with what happens next year with Sean Payton being out there and Mike McCarthy being here. It's going to be literally hell on earth for Mike McCarthy. I don't envy his position at all, and this is where you have to wonder, is being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys all it's cracked up to be? Because in the end, I guess it's only about...
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Not why you're here. Jerry Jones, that's exactly what it is. With that being said, I've got lots of work to do in the workshop. I'm going to be doing some more new things. I'm happy because I'm back home. I can be in the workshop. Michael's going to be here with me today, so we're going to be working hard, as always, to bring you the best coverage of the Dallas Cowboys, the best coverage of my ex-Carver, and the best health tips on trying to lose some weight off of this big belly. I'm Mark Holmes, and you know how we roll.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Cowboys?